awesome topic, which I have a listing. Now what? So usually, if we're first-time agents or even a refresher, and it's our listing, and we want to make sure to see what we can do to market that listing and take advantage of all of the CV tools for us. So just a couple of reminders. It is recorded, so please refrain from unmuting yourself. We do have the chat as well, but since it's a smaller session with us, a small class, you could go ahead and unmute yourself. If we get more people, then we'll go ahead and wait. We will have a question and answer section towards the end, so I'll make sure to get all your questions there. And our agenda. We're gonna go through a property marketing checklist. So I'm gonna go ahead and share that checklist towards the end of the presentation, but we're gonna just review it at the beginning. We're gonna be prepping to promote like a star. So what are we gonna do to prep ourselves for that listing and creating the pre-market buzz? We have a couple of tools that are gonna be able to help you prepare for that listing even before it goes active on MLS. And we're going to go through your property marketing with listing concierge, full service, and self-service. So we do have that awesome listing concierge package that are available, but also within the program, you're able to use a self-service. So we're going to see how that works. And photography options. Photography is one of those things, especially right now, since everyone is viewing properties digitally through their phone, on the internet, through emails. We want to make sure that the photography makes your property exceed and stand out compared to other ones. And we were going to share a couple pro tips. And then at the end, like I mentioned, we're going to have a Q&A section. So let's get started. Property marketing checklist. So for a while, we were used to marketing our listing a certain way. But if it's your first listing, you don't have that set checklist and something to kind of guide you through that. So the marketing team has created a property marketing checklist that, like I mentioned, I'm going to attach to the recording of this email, so you make sure you have it. It's a PDF. You're going to be able to print it or edit it through through Adobe. So basically, it's going to be able to give you what your listing is, the address, what options you're going to do to market your listing to kind of get that wheel going. Pre-marketing buzz, they'll help you see what are your options. Is the client allowing you to add it on to exclusive look, which is one of our awesome in-house programs? How are you going to announce it? Are you going to announce it just through email? Are you going to do a social media post, a video post? How are you going to make that announcement? Are you going to order signs? Are you going to make a sign order for a yard sign, or is it kind of hidden and excluded? Are you going to have to order 2 yard signs, one on one corner directional and one in front of the property? Order comprehensive listing concierge. So this is where you're going to be able to order your listing concierge package, since you already reviewed what package is going to make more sense for you. And then you'll do it all. Or if you don't want to go through that option, you have that DIY section. So we're going to review every single section on that marketing list. First off, you don't have a listing until you have a signed listing agreement. I know we get excited when we having that conversation with this potential client, but we really want to make sure that we're protecting you and your client to please have a signed listing agreement before you market your property. You could have a signed listing agreement and have an MLS exclusion form signed. That way you could have a start date of when you have the listing and then a date that it will start and be published on MLS. So it doesn't have to be exact date, but if you do not have the MLS exclusion form, you do have to market it within 24 to 48 hours of that signed listing agreement. So if you have any more questions, please reach out to your office manager. They are the ones equipped to answer all of your contract questions, disclaimers, pre-listing, legal forms. They're your go-to people. So we want to make sure that you're within the guidelines. It is against the law to promote a listing without a signed agreement. And also it saves you, let's say you already purchased a listing agreement and then your client decides to pull off, you're not going to have any reimbursement. It is all on your end. So you want to make sure that you have it signed and no one else has that listing. We want to make sure we know the property and its list its best aspects. So you're going to want to have this conversation with your seller. What is something that your seller is very proud of that property? What is something that they really want to showcase? So those are the details you're going to want to keep track of. So when you're having this conversation with the photographer, or if you're going to have a stager, you want to make sure you're showcasing those aspects on there. List the main details in your phone so you have them handy for your meeting pitch. So if you've already kind of reviewed the property on Google, you're going to say, hey, I'm going to have a drone photographer come in and take a video of your whole property. Or you're going to say, this property is amazing. Let me take twilight pictures. Here are some samples of twilight pictures. That way it preps you for your seller and seeing exactly what is going to resonate for your seller and what's going to really market and sell that property. Prepare a short and long version of your property descriptions. I know those are always a hang up, the verbiage for MLS. So having two versions is going to help you because if you are going to use Listing Concierge, there are some TV ads that are part of it, or some of the printed material have character count limits, or they have just a minimal character on there, like a little social media post. So that way you have variety of marketing material, verbiage that you could showcase ahead of time. That way, when you're active with the listing, you're not going to worry about those little aspects. You already have it cleared up. Or even connect with your seller and see exactly what aspects the seller wants to showcase. Sometimes they really want to have some input on what the verbiage showcases. So that's one aspect. Another aspect we want to make sure is that we're not violating any fair housing laws. So that's one other subject we want to make sure. So like verbiage of a family home or walking distance or master bedroom. There's some verbiage that you have to make sure you're in compliance. If you're posting that verbiage on MLS also has a compliance board that will, if they do see a discrepancy in your verbiage, you will get alerted and you will get a warning. And if that warning happens again, then you will have a fine. So we really want to make sure that you have that signed listing agreement, that you know the property and all the aspects you want to market, and that you have those descriptive copies that are within the guidelines that are not violating any laws on that part. The next step is take a quick shot of the property in case someone wants to see it. Sometimes you are in front of the property, it's a pre-listing or it's office exclusive, you haven't had your photography ready. Take some with your cell phone. Most nowadays, if you have an iPhone or Samsung, Android, they have really good cameras already. So take a couple quick pictures. That way you have it available for a client that wants to see it before it goes in the market, since a lot of our Coldwell Banker agents have access to some of the tools that make it available to market before it goes live. Consider buying a custom domain for that particular property. You could have the address domain. We have access to single property websites through Listing Concierge in both the packages and the self-serve. So you don't have to build a whole custom page. You could just purchase a smaller domain and then switch that domain out for your next property. That way you let your seller know, I'm going to market your property and I'm going to invest all of my resources that are available for that. That way you get to win the listing as well in future business. And like I was mentioning, the exclusive look. So exclusive look is an awesome tile. So it's an awesome program that is connected to nationwide Coldwell Banker agents. Office exclusives means, or off-market listings, we cannot place on MLS to market to other brokerages, but because Coldwell Banker is one amazing brokerage, we're able to share office exclusive within our brokerage. So that means that agent that has a seller or a buyer in New York could see a listing because they're moving to California, they'll be able to see your listing that's going to be coming up on the market. So that way you could have that connection before it even goes on MLS. There is an disclosure that your seller has to sign to make sure that you are allowed to post it on exclusive look. And I'm Coldwell Banker has made sure that it follows compliance to the NAR regulations, so you're not going to be getting fined, anything like that on that, because it is all within brokerage on that. Announce your new listing at your sales meeting. So every week you should be having a sales meeting, and your manager is going to give you an opportunity to share any upcoming listings, any exclusive. That's the moment to start building that buzz within your own office, within your own agency. They're going to be the ones that are going to be most likely bringing in a buyer, a couple of buyers in there. So you want to give them the opportunity to go in, pull that listing, and sell it before you hit the market, even in a local place. So make sure you make those announcements before it goes on the market. So now what kind of options can we do to actually market the property? So we have a couple. We have Listing Concierge full service, and that full service includes 4 packages. We have Listing Concierge self-service, where you're going to be able to upload your own pictures, upload your own verbiage, links, and still take advantage of the Coldwell Banker marketing layouts. Um, the other one is totally DIY. So that means you have your own marketing team, your own templates that you like, your own logo, your own verbiage. All of that is your personal brand that you take pride of. Another thing that it's new, we're barely getting used to it or getting familiar with that product, which is Moxie Impress. And that's going to be a future tool that's going to be very useful for all of us. So let's first review Listing Concierge, the full service package. Like I mentioned, it has 4 packages. Bronze is a fully digital package, so there's no printed postcards, mailers, brochures. It's all digital, so it's for that listing that you know is going to be flying off the shelf. But you still want to take advantage of the marketing initiative, get your name out there, your brand. So that's a good package, depending on your location. It is the cheapest package. You will also, it does qualify for the photography reimbursement. So let's say you have your own photographer and you love working with them, but you still want to take advantage of the CB marketing tools. You're going to be able to opt out photography in the order, get an $80 credit, and then be able to just upload your own pictures, and the coordinator will be able to take advantage of your pictures and make all the material off of that. Alongside of that, we have the silver package, gold, and platinum, and they all include a TV spot, so it's like a TV commercial, a printed ad on a newspaper or magazine, just listed postcards or mailers, just sold postcards, and a lot more other features. Photography is included on there, and in the platinum package, you're able to upgrade to an aerial photography, twilight photography, Matterport, some other quick and awesome features on there. You could also purchase add-ons, and that's all within one suite. You place your order, you upload your verbiage, you wait for your photographer to upload the pictures if you are using a Listing Concierge photographer, and your Listing Concierge coordinator will go in, play with all the pictures, create a nice template, and have them out for your approval. If you don't like some things, you could go in, make edits, and once you're ready for it to go out, you just hit approve a couple of times, the material will be sent out, and all you did was approve emails, check your email on a regular basis, and have that material out in your name. So here are kind of like the comparison of what a full service package is. Self-service, so the Listing Concierge full package will run you from around, I want to say, $125 from the bronze up to $1,025. So it varies. Each package has a lot of different features and add-ons onto it. So it's a good opportunity to sit down and review what each of those package has. But this is what Listing Concierge has. So you'll go onto your CB desk, you'll place your order, you'll choose the date and time of your photography. So those are your suggested dates. Doesn't mean that your photographer will be there that exact time, but most likely it is. We have a lot of photographers. You'll put in details of the photography. So if you're going to want aerial photography, or if it's a small property, or if it's a huge property, let your photographer know those details, especially if you want to be at the property while the photography is being taken. Watch for photos upload. So once you have your photography done, watch for your listing concierge order confirmation email. So all of the communication will be through email. So check your email. That's going to be very, very important to make sure that your order goes through smoothly. You're going to watch for photos uploads with an email confirmation. You'll also be able to export those pictures in a low resolution, so you could use them for MLS. That way you have both of them available. And then you're going to start watching for your email proofs. Each email will let you know which material is ready for you to approve. You will have to enter the MLS number. Listing concierge coordinators do not have access to MLS, so they do rely on you to let them know when the listing has gone live and if there's been a price change or a status change. So you have to let them know. The moment you put the MLS number, they will start creating that boost ad. So it's really important to remember that step. For the listing concierge self-service, you'll arrange your photography how you want. You'll upload it. If you have a virtual tour, you'll be able to have a section in there. You could order just listed postcards and have that through Express Docs. Using Coldwell Banker, the self-serve section, you'll be able to create a property website through there for free, an e-flyer, and a social media post. So those are some features that you can use without having to take advantage of any of the packages, or if it's something that you know is going to change status pretty quick, that's one of the resources you have. Property marketing, how are we going to share it on social media? So one of the great things is that a lot of our websites have that share button. If you have your own if on your own personal single property website, it'll also have a little share button where you're going to be able to share it to your Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest. It'll also have a link on there that you could send out to your clients. So we want to make sure you're taking advantage of all of the internet resources that are available. So part of the self-serve, you'll be able to create flyers, property website, a slideshow, an e-flyer, and social media graphic, all with a Coldwell Banker branding. So it's basically a plug and play. You'll upload your pictures, edit the verbiage on there. The social media graphics do have a very limited verbiage, so it does test your verbiage creativity skills on that. So it's a fun tool to have to kind of personalize your marketing onto there. And like I mentioned, photography is a very, very important detail. We want to make sure. So with Coldwell Banker listing concierge package, we have partnered with quite a few photography companies that are very pristine. They're used to white glove service. So we have F8 covering the NorCal area. So it's all of NorCal, Aerial Canvas, Virtual Tour Cafe, Pineapple Labs, Virtunes, VHT Studio. So those are all through Sacramento and Tahoe area. I'm not that familiar with that since my area is San Francisco Bay Area and NorCal area. So I'm not that familiar with the other three options, but reach out to your local sales support administrator, local field marketing specialist, and they'll be able to give you more details on those photographers. Be at the property. So that's one of the main pro tips that we like to give the agents is be at the property when your photographer is there. We don't like seeing surprises after when we receive the pictures and you could have said, oh, I wish I would have opened that window, closed that curtain, or rearrange that. It's preferable that you're at the location, you know the property, you know the details that you want the photographer to get. They might have some suggestions or that might not blend well with the seller or yourself, or they're not getting that feature. So you want to make sure that you're there. Make sure you clear the space, pay attention to detail so you get what you want. Photographers don't move things around. They just go and take pictures. So if you see a hose, you remove the hose. If you see that the toilet seat up, you should put it down. You see stuff at a place, make sure that you're very attention to detail on all the other things to make sure everything is captured pristine. Twilight photography. If you have that property that just glows at night, make it that statement. Usually buyers are only visiting the property during the day. So they're missing out on the other half of the day and how the property is going to look, how the neighborhood looks. So you could go ahead and take advantage of that and ask for twilight photography, or you could schedule your photography close to twilight and have that option as well, depending on what time the winter is. Aerial photography. So if you know that that property has a huge land, or it just has amazing pools, or the neighborhood is really great, take advantage of the aerial photography on there. 360 tours during COVID, these were super popular because it allowed buyers from all over the country to view a property and buy it sight unseen. But because they had these 360 tours in Matterport, they fell in love with the property and purchased it. So that's one other option as well. If you feel like you have buyers that are from out of the area, you could go ahead and have that section onto there. And this is the Matterport that I was mentioning, that kind of little dollhouse effect where you could see the layout of the house, see its different details. Buyers love this option. It'll give you the dollhouse or the floor plan along there. A virtual staging, if sometimes buyers have a hard time of viewing themselves in that property, in that home, because it's empty. So it's good to give them that option. So if you feel like the house is kind of weird, empty, look into virtual staging. Part of the list packages also includes virtual staging as an add-on. So that's something you could look into as well. Sample print materials. So within Express Stocks, you're able to actually print out a sample material with all generic stuff. That way you could carry it around and have it ready for your pre-listing presentations, have your hardcover presentation, Moxie presentation on there, and then have this sample print material. Give it to your seller. Let them know this is the high quality material that you're going to give that particular property. Like I was mentioning, the property marketing checklist is what I'm going to provide to you along with the recording. Some pro tips. Add the seller email to HomeSpotter Boost campaign. That's part of your listing concierge package. Let your seller know that you're marketing it all over the internet. By adding their email to the campaign, it will literally find their email stockishly and create that ad and find that ad. So if they're on Facebook, the ad will find them there. On Instagram, the ad will find them there. And who doesn't like seeing their property online? So this is a great option. And make sure you're checking a HomeSpotter Boost to make sure how many leads you're getting, how many clicks you're getting. You're also able to email that report to your seller. That way they know exactly how many hits are going. Let's say the property is a little bit overpriced. You could let them know, hey, we had a really high access rate at the beginning, but you could see it dropped down. So that's going to be part of the market reports that you could send them on a daily or weekly basis. And that way they could say, hey, maybe it's time to change the price, or let's play around with something else. Make sure you're sharing your YouTube videos on your own YouTube video. Add it to your social medias, add it to your just sold email. So Listing Concierge has those your commercials in a YouTube video where you will be able to access and share and make it available to everyone, and also add it to your website for future listings. That way they go onto your website and see what you've done for previous listings. I know that was a lot. We'll make sure to attach the checklist to the email with the recording. That way you have that checklist in hands on. Um, and make an appointment with your local field marketing specialist and review that checklist and say, hey, what is something that I could implement right now in my marketing? Now I'm going to open it up. I'm going to stop the recording and open it up for any questions if there are any questions.